How's it on YouTube? It's Peter here, your ginger Jury geek. Can't speak. I'm here with my Sentinel of Liberty, Efrain. How are you doing, Efrain?
I'm doing fine, Peter. Peter, let me say one thing.
Yeah.
Just like Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, when he yells "Flame on," there is nobody hotter on YouTube than you are right now, Mr. Triple G Comics.
Where do you get this stuff from, Efrain? Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Are you well, mate? Are you well?
I'm doing fine. What about yourself?
I'm not bad. Not bad at all. It's very, very cold over here in the UK, Efrain. We've got snow on the ground. It's not good.
Yeah,
not good.
It's cold here, but nothing what you guys are doing, like you guys have right now. So, no
Good
complaints.
Stuff. So we're back again to do our monthly picks. Always look forward to doing this with you, Efrain.
Yep.
And this is the show where we have a look at what's coming out in, I believe, March on this particular one, and just recommend some books for people to read, or just things that have piqued our interest.
Yep.
So let's crack straight on. Interesting month this month, Efrain. I would say that you picked a couple of books that I also picked, but I've left them with you so you can talk about them. But some interesting first issues, I think, this particular month. So, like I was saying, this is the month of March. We'll just crack straight on. And Efrain, your first picture of mine, that's an image and a half, isn't it?
So yeah, this one, this book has been out now for over 2 years now. It's Something is Killing the Children, issue number 30. This is cover B. By the artist's name is Anindito, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Right.
Erica Slaughter, wow, she's just an amazing character. I mean, she just is so driven to rid the world of these monsters that she doesn't take any crap from anybody. And she's got a buzzsaw behind her, all bloodied up. I think it's a great picture. What I like about it, there's no words on it at all. It's just her, So this is an ongoing storyline. Originally, this series, I think, was supposed to be a limited series, but it was so popular. And it's also, it's written by James Tynion IV.
Yeah.
It's so popular, it's just ongoing. I mean, I love this series.
So are you up to date with this, Efrain?
Yes. Yep, I'm up to date. Been reading it when it comes out every month. I read it online, and I just love this series.
So I got the do you know the release to hardback last year? I picked that up, and I've been waiting to buy the next one when that comes out. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I've not read House of Slaughter yet, which is the accompanying title to this, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been reading it. It's good, because it picks up on other characters in that universe, but this is the main one, obviously,
Yeah, and that cover's stunning. I love the way our masks kind of protected her from the blood splatter. Yeah, stunning. So my pick is a Mark Millar book. I'm a big fan of Mark Millar's work. I think he does some amazing stories. And actually, I've got 2 Mark Millar picks this month. But this is a new series called The Ambassadors. And basically, the premise of it is, if you could gift 6 people in the entire world superpowers, who would you give it to? And I think each issue is basically an individual kind of putting their case forward for why they should have the superpowers. Now, that sounds quite simple, but you know what Mark Millar's like, so it's bound to have some twists and turns. And it's interesting because the premise for it says it's the most ambitious comic book of all time. So that's quite interesting. I loved the cover. I loved the fact that you've got some different kind of nationalities represented there. I'm always a fan of Mark Millar's work. And like I say, we're going to come to one of his recent books in a little bit. You a fan of Mark Millar, Efrain?
Oh, yeah. I love his work in Kick-Ass. That was like one of my favorite books with John Romita Jr., the artist. Yeah. I always think, God, what it would be like to have superpowers, even at my age. I think, God, what power would I choose? I think a lot of times I would think I would choose invisibility. That way I'd be able to fly anywhere, But then also, if you could fly, you wouldn't need a plane. So
yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So looking forward to that one. I think that'll be an interesting one, and probably a one to watch. A lot of Mark Millar's work these days is kind of geared towards his deal with Netflix, I think, the Millarverse. So a lot of it might translate into TV or movies. Now that's a cover, Efrain. I do love a bit of Alex Ross.
Yes, there is multiple. These are the bad guys that he's doing now, Alex Ross, and there's multiple ones coming out this month. I think there's Mephisto, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
The Red Skull. another, evil, so to speak. I don't consider the Black Cat an evil, a villain anymore myself. She's kind of in between. But the reason this is one cover I think I'm gonna buy of all the other ones that are coming up, because I just think this one is so awesome looking.
I mean, I love, as you know, Alex Ross's work, and I was tempted to pick some of these covers up, but what I'm hoping for instead, I don't know if you got it, Efrain, but when he did the hero covers a few years back, he produced a poster book shortly after.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a stunning. All of the images were in this poster book, and you could detach the pages if you wanted to put them in frames and whatnot. And it had a pull out of all of the covers. So I'm hoping he does the same thing with the villain covers.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a stunning book, Efrain. You should have a look at it. It's really, really good. And I didn't realize as well, but that initial, the heroes kind of covers that all interlink into one big image. He painted that in Marvel headquarters, apparently. So apparently that's in the corridor or something.
I think I took a picture of that of myself at Comic-Con this year, if I remember right now.
Yeah.
I took a picture of all of them. Yeah,
absolutely stunning. He's an amazing artist, and that's a beautiful cover, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. So this one piqued my interest. This is by Image Comics. This is Dead Romans, number 1 of 6. And basically, I'll read the synopsis. I can't pronounce his name. Arminius, a Germanic prince raised in Rome, has sworn vengeance against the empire that butchered his people. He wants to make a queen of the woman he loves, a fellow slave. Now 50,000 Romans will die to give her a throne she never asked for or wanted. I quite like historical. I know it's not fact, but I like things that are based on historical stuff. So, for example, I love 300. I don't know if you've read that. But this just piqued my interest, and I thought, we'll give that one a go. A bit different to the usual kind of stuff I read. So, have a go at that one.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah. Next, you've picked good old Philadelphia.
I guess I tell myself, God, I always seem to pick like 1 or 2 of the same books, man, because I just enjoy reading them so much. This is Philadelphia number 29. That's written by Rodney Barnes, and art. This is Jason Sean Alexander and German Eramos, if I believe. This is just a continuation of vampires that are trying to take over Philadelphia, but they named it Philadelphia. And these vampires are like founding father vampires. Like George Washington, I believe Thomas Jefferson. I forgot which of the vampires are still around from back then. It's just an ongoing series. I believe this was supposed to be a limited series also, but it was so popular they just continued it.
So you got me into this series, Efrain. I'm reading in graphic novel format, so I haven't read the last graphic novel yet. I've got it, but I haven't read it yet. I absolutely adore this series. And Rodney Barnes is doing amazing work. He seems to be on fire at the moment. He's just produced, I haven't read it, but he's just produced a book called Blackula, I think, which is Dracula, I think.
Yep,
which looks really interesting. You've ordered it,
It was a black exploitation film from, I believe, the 1970s. Blackula, it was a movie, and I think it's a continuation of that. I ordered it already on Amazon. Yep, that looks like a good one.
Looks really cool. I mean, he also for fans of Philadelphia, he also quite often jumps on Twitter and does live interviews and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So not Twitter, sorry, Instagram. So so it's worth watching out for that.
Yeah.
I've picked Punisher. I think I've talked about it before, Efrain. This to me is probably the series of the year for me. So this is Punisher. I think this is issue 10. It'll be. It's just amazing. What they've done with the character of Frank Castle is like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. He's now, by this point, spoilers. By this point, he's now fully embraced his role as the kind of the fist of the beast. And he's got all the powers that go along with that. In the last issue, and again, big spoilers, so if you haven't read issue 9, turn away now. But in the last issue, he actually killed Ares, the god of war. It's just an amazing series. And this is all building. I know you're a big Daredevil fan, and I know you're reading Daredevil.
Yeah.
This is all building towards a big kind of confrontation with Daredevil and other heroes. So Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow have all kind of teamed up and said it's time to stop Frank Castle. It's just brilliant. I can't sing its praise enough. Really recommend people read The Punisher at the moment.
Well, see, now I don't have to read issue number 9 because I was just about to read it, and I knew he was going to fight Ares, and he's dead. I can skip that one now.
You can skip that one. See the money I've saved you, Efrain. You're welcome.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Now, you picked Clear, and I picked this one as well. I thought this sounded really interesting, but take it away, Efrain. Tell me about this.
This cover grabbed my attention, and there's like about 4 covers for this book, but this one just picked my cover. That's the first thing that grabbed my attention. This is Clear #1. The artist is written by Scott Snyder, and the artist is Francis Manapul. It says, in the not too distant future, mankind no longer sees the world as it truly is. The invention of neurological filters has made it so one can view reality however they may choose. Old Hollywood monochrome, zombie apocalypse, anime, the possibilities are endless. Seems very interesting. I love this cover. And like I said, whenever we go through picking our books, what grabs my attention first is the cover. And then I read the synopsis and I go, this is a cool one. I know I've in my last video said I'm not buying too many books anymore. I am going to buy a couple of for these months, just one or two of them, because I really like this cover.
And this is by Scott Snyder, isn't it? And Scott Snyder does incredible work. I mean, he's a phenomenal writer. Met him at Thought Bubble a couple of months back, and he was an absolute gentleman. This one really piqued my interest. It's weird enough to kind of get us to read it, and different enough to think, oh, this sounds a bit odd.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
My pick is another Mark Millar book. This is Nemesis Reloaded, issue #3. I don't know. Have you read Nemesis, Efrain?
I've heard of it, but no, I've never read it.
So Nemesis was a series Mark Millar did, I think 10, 12 years ago. And he's basically what if Batman was a criminal, basically. And that series 10, 20 years ago, whatever it was absolutely brilliant. Well, he's decided to kind of reboot it himself. So he's redeveloped the story. Issue 1 I've just read, and it was absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. So this is just a continuation. Really recommend if you like Mark Millar work and you like Batman, pick this up, because this is basically what if Batman was a bad guy. It's very clever writing. So yeah, that's Nemesis #1. Sorry, #3. And yeah, great series. Okay. Again, so you picked this one, Efrain, and I did as well. I thought this one sounded really cool.
So this one is from Boom Studios. It's called The Neighbors, written by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, and cover artist is Ramon K. Perez. It says here, when Janet and Oliver Gowdy move to a quaint mountain town, their daughter Casey becomes part of a horrific chain of events, revealing that their neighbors are anything but what they seem. Soon, an unsettling old woman named Agnes Early fixates on Janet and Oliver's other daughter, 2-year-old Isabel. So it just goes from there, and it's striking cover. And I'm curious to see what this book is all about. That the roots on this tree, but then it's connected to some kind of entity or what? I don't know what this book is about. But like I said, this cover just grabbed my attention.
Absolutely the same. So when I was flicking through and I saw this cover, I had to have a little read to find out what it was all about. It sounds amazing. Sounds right up my tree. So I'll be picking this one up, Efrain. I think it looks great, and that cover is lovely. I really like that.
I like the way this book branches out to grab imagination.
Very good, very good. Okay, so moving on. My pick is, I don't know about this, Efrain. This is I put it in here. Me and you talked lots in the past about how Marvel books don't really float your boat that much anymore, particularly event books. However, reading The Punisher has kind of got us back in a little bit, and I'm thinking maybe I've been a bit harsh on Marvel. So this is kind of the start of the next event, I guess you'd say. This is a limited series, 1 of 5, Avengers Beyond. Basically what it says is that someone's been manipulating the Avengers in the various books for months, and it's now been revealed to be the Beyonder. I'm a bit of a fan of the character of the Beyonder. I do like the original Secret Wars and stuff. So this is a bit of a punt. This is a bit of a I'm going to give it a go and just see what it's like. I think it might be rubbish, but we'll have it a go. I think. I'm not a big events book fan anymore, really, to be honest. But yeah, like I say, it's got Thor on the front there, which is always a winner for me. So we'll give it a shot. You interested in kind of big event books and things like that anymore, Efrain?
Yeah, more when I was younger in the past, like
Mhm.
Secret Wars, the very first one that came out, or Secret, what was it? The Empire book, Secret Empire, the one when
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that those type of books. But you gotta think about this. These characters have been around for over 60 plus
yeah.
years. How hard is it for these writers to come up with fresh ideas?
Oh, absolutely.
I gotta,
Yeah,
hand it to them when it comes to that, because if this was a
yeah.
TV show, all these books would have been canceled decades ago.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
And
it's
then what
hard.
would we have to talk about?
Yeah, we just be having stare down
Yeah.
competitions.
Okay, so that's what picks for March, ladies and
Yeah.
gents. Now we're going to look at the books that are coming out January 23rd, which is, as of filming this video, next week.
Yes.
Um, Efrain, Last Ronin.
So the last Ronin came out originally like about 2 years ago, and this basically is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, The Lost Years. Basically, it tells Michelangelo what happened to him in between. After the last of the turtles has died, his journey to what happened with him, and it goes from there. It says here, for Michelangelo in particular, the march to his heartbreaking last battle was long and dangerous, taking him from New York City to Japan, across Asia and Europe, and then back home again to administer final justice against those guilty of killing his family. But what happened during those faithful years when his only need for vengeance and Master Splinter's journal to guide him? So yeah, hopefully it's a good series. Man, I loved The Last Ronin when it first came out. And my only wish is that they don't take like 3 to 4 months in between each issue. That kind of ruined it for me. But I'm
I think
curious to see how this book is.
I think that delay kills the story for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, Efren. As you know, I'm getting old and I haven't got the patience anymore between books, and I forget what's happened last week. Never mind
Yeah.
3 months ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is probably why I prefer reading in trade paperback format these days.
Yep.
I've actually got the last Ronin trade paperback, but I've not finished it yet, so I'll have to pick that back up. My pick's an interesting one. So this is Murder World Wolverine. And basically the synopsis of this is that Arcade, the X-Men villain, has set up another kind of murder world, and the contestants are being hunted by various forms of Wolverine. So he's basically hunting people and killing them. Doesn't tell you who he's hunting or all the rest of it, but it sounds intriguing, and it reminds us very much. I can't remember the name of the series, but you might remember a series called Avengers Academy, and
Yes.
they did a kind of a follow-on to that where some of those characters were on a kind of a murder world thing.
I think I
And
remember.
Eric,
Yeah.
yeah, and Bloodstone's daughter was in it and all that kind of stuff, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So this just sounds interesting, and I'm hoping that they don't hold back with this. You cannot have Wolverines hunting people and it not end with a few deaths and some slaughter and stuff like that. So I'm hoping this is a bit of an adulty book. So I'm going to pick this up and give it a go, see what it's like. It looks interesting to us.
Yeah. Very interesting. I love seeing all Wolverines on the cover too. So that was grabbing my
Yeah,
attention.
all the different versions there look pretty
Yeah.
cool. God, do you remember when they did that with the feral Wolverine? Took his nose and things and gave him the bone claws.
That's a classic scene in X-Men history when Magneto sucked the
Oh,
adamantium out of Wolverine. I mean, I
yeah,
felt
yeah,
his pain,
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
dang, man, that was brutal.
yeah. Well, you're right. That was an anniversary issue, wasn't it? It was an
Yeah,
incredible issue. That.
yeah.
Okay, guys. So that is our top picks for March. Let us know in the comments if you pick any of these up or if you've read any. And as ever, please do let us know if you've enjoyed this video. Just quickly mention, I've got a few things coming up on my channel. I just wanted to mention that we've got live shows every Monday that Efrain joins us on, and pretty much most of them, to be honest. So every Monday night, UK time, 8 o'clock, we've got a different flavour of live show. Efrain, what have you got coming up on your channel?
I'm just trying to think of new ideas, and when I'm going on live on well, it depends on when this video comes out. So, Tuesday I'm going on live with Peter and James. I got some new comic books that came in finally, and I'm also doing these other videos I call "Do You Know?" Basically, it's just like comic book trivia, some things about comic books that I didn't know about. I thought I would see them on YouTube. People are saying, "Did you know that so and so happened in other, venues like
Yeah.
movies or sports. Like, oh, that's pretty fun. So I'm starting to do that for comic books too.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lots of good stuff coming out. Okie dokie, Efrain. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again. I look forward to doing this next week. And with that, we'll call it a night and say bye-bye to everybody. So thanks very much. We'll see you
Take
later.
care.
Bye.